Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Sorry about the late video today. I was a little late getting home after the new content drop, but guys, there is a ton of new content out. Oh my god. This is going to be a player review video, but I'm going to have to split it into two just because they came out with a ton of new cards. So today we're going to be reviewing the pitchers that they come out with, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about the hitters. But before we do the player reviews, there is a little bit of new content that you might find kind of interesting. I don't really know, but it is something that I guess you could take into consideration. And of course, I'm talking about the new exchange missions that you can do, and there are some interesting ones. Like you can exchange 500 pieces of equipment for a Ballin' as a Habit pack, or 500 sponsorships for a 10 standard pack bundle. So that's pretty cool. If you're looking to clean out your your inventory or anything like that, you can, get a free 10-pack bundle and maybe pull something sick out of that. And then you have, if you exchange, I think it's 50 MLB stadiums, you can get one non-sellable classic stadium. You can do that twice. So that's a really cool thing. If you don't want to buy a classic stadium and maybe you really want the Polo Grounds, but you don't want to buy it, you just roll the dice, trade in 50 stadiums, and who knows, maybe you get it, and if not, maybe you get something, else that you might want. And then this is the one that everybody is probably going to be talking about, but this is kind of crazy. Exchange 75 gold live series players for 1 diamond live series players. I love the concept, but 75 gold players? Like, are you fucking retarded? Like, what the hell? That is an insane ask. Like, I mean, I guess if you went and I mean, this is going to inflate the gold price on the market, probably. In my opinion, I think it probably will. And if you're going to ask for us to trade in golds, maybe like 30 or something like that, but 75 is crazy. That is going to cost people like 150,000 stubs, and I guarantee you that like 90% of these packs are going to have some shitty ass, just upgraded diamond in there. It's not going to be like, you're not going to get Mike Trout. Like, that's going to be exceedingly rare. You're going to get stupid ass, Craig Kimbrel that sells for 12,000 on the market. This is totally not worth it. It's it's way too steep. It's way too steep. So, and the reward is non-sellable too. So, even if you do get lucky and pull Mike Trout, you don't have the option of selling him. You have to, play with him or whatever. So I don't like this that much. I mean, I like the concept. I just don't like the execution that much. Okay, moving on to player reviews. The first guy that we're going to talk about is the 99 obligatory Craig Kimbrel that they have to come out with every year. Well, I mean, I guess they've only been doing flashbacks for 2 years, but it seems like, you have to put out a 99 Craig Kimbrel, and I'm going to have to make a video about how I think he's shitty. Even as a 99 overall, I don't think that this is a card that you want on your team. He has 99 hit per 9, 99 K per 9, good control, good velocity, good break. The problem with him is his pitch selection. Like always, he has a fastball and a curveball, and that just does not cut it. It's even like the worst version of a curveball. Like, if he had a sweeping curve, that'd be kind of cool. If he had a slurve, that would be pretty dope. If he had a changeup to go along with that, he would be like one of the best relievers in the game, no doubt about it. But he doesn't. He only throws fastball, curveball, and in real life, that's sick. But in this game, it just doesn't work. This card is virtually identical to his live series version. It's not something that you want to go after and get. Leave this card alone. I gave him a fag of a 7.1 because I just don't think a 99 can play any worse than like a 7. His stats are incredible, and like at the lower levels he is going to be effective, but once you hit a certain point where guys are able to hit velocity, this guy is going to be borderline useless. But for those lower level teams, he has a lot of utility. He's probably going to be dominant for you, but at a certain level, it's kind of funny, there is no middle ground with this guy. He's either dominant or he's useless. Like, there's not a lot of in between. So, take that into consideration. Definitely take what skill level you're at right now when buying this guy. But I wouldn't get him almost regardless. So I put his fag at a 7.1. And it begins, guys, the deluge of Gaylord Perrys. But the good news is that the 98 overall, this is the best version of Gaylord Perry that I've seen so far the past 2 years. But that doesn't mean that this is a very good card. I don't think it is. I think, it's okay. It's probably going to be above average, but not by a lot. Like, his per nines are okay. They're right at that threshold, that 155 threshold that I look for a starter. His walk per nine is very good, so he's going to have good control and everything. He has a cool pitch selection. He has the standard 4 pitches and a fork ball to go along with it. So, maybe that'll throw your opponent off a little bit. The fork ball is kind of a weird pitch in this game. I don't really see it doing a ton. Except Fergie Jenkins is kind of funky because it's like a really slow changeup and it's pretty effective, but I don't know how this Gaylord Perry's is going to play, but he just doesn't throw hard enough and his per nines aren't like super dominant to be able to overcome that. So I think he's going to be above average, but not a guy that would stick in my rotation. So I ended up putting his fag at a 6.4. Okay, now we got another relief pitcher here, and this is the 94 Joe Nathan that is very similar to the card from last year. I think it's almost identical, except that they gave this version a cutter, which is pretty cool. And I think that it makes this card more usable. I wasn't a huge fan of the Joe Nathan last year, but I'm kind of digging this card. Like, I could see him being in my rotation for sure. He has, borderline, elite per nines, not even borderline elite. They're elite. Sometimes I'm pretty tough on relievers, because there are just so many that are 99, 99 that I say if they don't have that, they're not elite, but they are. I mean, anything over 95 on both hit and K per nine for a reliever is the elite of the elite. There are only like a few guys in the game that have that. His velocity is okay. For a reliever, he's not going to be an overpowering guy, but he's a guy that throws hard enough to where his all-speed stuff is really effective, and his all-speed stuff is really, really good. Very good slider, very good 12-6, very good changeup, and he also has that cutter that you can throw in there, and, if it's effective enough, maybe it could throw some people off. So this is a very effective card. I put his fag at an 8.2. Okay, and man, I love this card. I love the 92 overall Fernando Rodney. This was a card from last year. Last year he was gold, but since they changed the tiers around, he's a 92 overall diamond. I think he's always deserved it. I love everything about this card. He has above average per nines for a reliever, very good hit per nine, and decent K per nine. His stuff is amazing. 92, 96 velocity and break is very, very good. The thing that makes this card, though, is he has this kind of quirky delivery, and he has the sickest changeup in the game. Like, just an unbelievably nasty circle change that will have hitters just spinning. I mean, it's so good. It's almost like an overhand version of like Pat Neshek or something, but he throws it a little bit harder. He throws everything a little bit harder, though. This guy can run it up there, and he has a slider. His live series version does not have a slider to go along with the circle change. So, that adds some value there too. His slider isn't great, but it's certainly, another pitch that you can throw to righties and keep them off balance. So I gave this guy a fag of an 8.1. Okay, and moving on, we're going to the 91 overall Jared Weaver card, and Jared Weaver is kind of a joke in this game. Like, they could give him 99 hit, 99 K, 99 everything, but if his velocity stayed the same, he would just not be usable at all. And that's kind of where he's stuck right now. Like, he just doesn't throw hard enough. I know I've seen people try to use him before, and I don't think I've ever seen him have an effective outing versus a competent hitter. It just doesn't happen. This guy is just not a good pitcher in this game. He just doesn't throw hard enough. If he had 70 velocity, this card, I would like it. Like I would be recommending going out and getting this guy, but I just can't because he doesn't throw hard enough. So I gave this guy a fag of a 4.4, and you know, I hate doing that for a guy with 80 plus hitting K per 9, but it's just that it is what it is, you know. Okay, now we're going to move on to the 90 overall Catfish Hunter, and this is like the Jared Weaver card, except way, way worse. Like, he doesn't have great per 9s to go along with his terrible velocity. He has mediocre per 9s to go along with his terrible velocity, and his velocity is even worse, and he doesn't even have the break that the Jared Weaver does. This card is just miserable in every sense of the word. Like, how this card got to a diamond, I will never have any idea. It's miserable. Like, I would use a mid-tier bronze pitcher over this 90 overall Catfish Hunter. It's worthless. Do not buy this card unless you're like grinding missions versus the computer or something. Like, I don't know. Like, this card sucks in every sense of the word. I gave this card a 2.8, and that's probably being generous. Okay, and now we're going to move on to Vita Blue's retarded younger brother. Vita Blue 91 overall. The 99 Vita Blue is dope. This one is not so much. He's okay. He's, you know, I think he's above average slightly, but not by a ton. Like, his per 9s are just below, they're at 150, so, you know, 5 points below that 155 threshold that we look for. You know, he throws kind of hard for a lefty. You know, he'll probably be able to run it up to 95 if you go max effort. He has, you know, good break-in stuff, but he only has a curveball and a changeup. And if, you know, if you were throwing harder and he had more break and he had better per 9s and stuff, then you get the 99 overall. That's amazing. But whenever you kind of tamper all those things down, he starts to lose effectiveness really, really quickly. And because of that, I couldn't put his fag very high at all. I had to put it at a 5.2. You know, I was kind of iffy on maybe going higher than that, maybe going a little lower, but I do think that he is above average, so I set it at a 5.2. Okay, now this card's pretty interesting. The 88 overall Clay Buckholtz card. This card is, he has an interesting mix of pitches. The only thing that I don't like about this card is his only breaking pitch is a 12-6 curveball. He does have the circle change as another all-speed pitch, but my worry is that you're going to have trouble pitching to righties because he doesn't have like a slider or a slurve or something like that. He does have a cutter that you can use, and if his cutter has a lot of break on it, maybe that can be effective. So, you know, maybe that kind of takes your worry down on this card a little bit, and his per 9s do hit the 155 mark on the nose. He does throw kind of hard, not super hard for a righty, but kind of hard. And that interesting pitch mix, you know, maybe you get a little creative with that 12-6 and that circle change and stuff like that. But, I don't think this is going to be a dominating guy. I put his fag at a 6.0. And then last but not least, because of Catfish Hunter's dumbass, comes the 87 overall John Lackey. And, you know, this card, I forgot what this card was all about last year. I don't know if this is like a similar, like if he was like an 87 overall and if all of his attributes were the same. But I know last year he was a guy that some people kind of like to use, like if they had restricted tournaments or stuff, because he was like sneaky good. But he's just not, he's not great. Like, he's not a guy that you're going to use, you know, in your rotation long term in high level ranked seasons or anything like that. Like, his per 9s are well below average, you know, 68, 70 with 75 walk per 9. I guess if you're a control freak, you know, that really likes to have spot pitchers, this guy might be like a sleeper for you. And he does throw, you know, average speed. Like, he doesn't throw slow. And he does have a cool little pitch mix, the 4 basic pitches and a cutter to throw in there. And he has pretty good break on all of his all-speed stuff. But he's not great at anything, and he's below average at enough that I couldn't really justify giving him too high of marks. So I put his fag at a 5.6, and I don't know, it's tough because I like that saying that he's better than the Vita Blue, I think, and I don't know. I think he is, just because his pitch mix is a little bit better, but you know, it's pretty close. So I'm going to stick with the 5.6. I'm going to stand by that. So yeah, guys, that is the player review. I will be doing the hitters tomorrow, and be on the lookout for that, because there are some dope-ass hitters, including a 90 overall Adam Jones that is really interesting, and a 93 overall Carlos Beltran, who is also kind of interesting. And then I think they came out with oh yeah, 97 overall Tony Perez, who can absolutely destroy the baseball. And then there's going to be more other than this, but a 94 overall Carlos Ruiz. So if you've been kind of strapped for a catcher, this could be a guy that maybe you could use. You'll find out tomorrow whenever I do the player review. This is called a fucking teaser. That I'm doing a teaser right now, but yeah, we'll do those tomorrow. And I switched the stream from today to tomorrow just because I don't know, because I'm a lazy fuck, guys. I don't really feel like streaming today. I'm gonna do it tomorrow though, on the weekend. I feel like I'll have more people there or whatever. So yeah, guys, I will see y'all then. But anyways, y'all be good in the meantime, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace.